You don't need motivation. Seriously, that might be the exact reason your life isn't changing. Because every time you say, "I'll start when I feel motivated," you're already setting yourself up to fail. Think about it. You've watched hundreds of productivity videos. You know what to do. Wake up earlier, work on your goals, stop procrastinating. And yet, you don't do it. Not because you're lazy, not because you're not capable, but because you're relying on something that was never meant to last: motivation. Here's the truth no one tells you. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It shows up when things feel easy and disappears the moment things get hard. And if your entire life depends on motivation, then your progress will always be inconsistent. That's why some days you feel unstoppable, and other days you can't even start. So the real problem isn't your discipline. The real problem is you don't have a system. Because systems don't care how you feel. They work when you're tired. They work when you're distracted. They work even when you don't feel like doing anything. And once you build the right system, you stop depending on motivation completely. So in this video, I'll show you a simple system that makes productivity automatic. Not forced, not exhausting, automatic. Let's start with something uncomfortable. You don't fail because you lack motivation. You fail because your life has no structure. Right now, your day is probably driven by feelings. You wake up, check your phone, decide what to do based on your mood. And that's the problem, because your mood is unstable. If you feel good, you work. If you don't, you procrastinate. That's not control, that's randomness. And randomness never creates success. Systems do. So here's the first shift you need to make. Stop asking, "Do I feel like doing this?" Start asking, "Is this part of my system?" Because once something becomes part of your system, it stops being optional. This is where most people lose. They rely on willpower every single day. What should I do now? Should I start? Maybe later. Every decision drains your energy, and the more you think, the less you act. So instead of deciding every day, decide once. Create a simple structure. Same wake-up time, same work block, same routine. Not because it's perfect, but because it removes thinking. And when you remove thinking, you remove resistance. Step 2. Make starting effortless. Here's something most people don't understand. The hardest part of any task is starting. Not doing it, starting it. Your brain creates resistance before you begin. It makes the task feel bigger than it actually is, so you avoid it. That's why your system must be built around one rule: make starting impossible to avoid. Instead of saying, "I'll study for 2 hours," say, "I'll study for 5 minutes." That's it. No pressure, no intensity, just 5 minutes. Because once you start, momentum takes over. And most of the time, you won't stop at 5 minutes. But even if you do, you still win. Because consistency beats intensity. Every single time. Let me be direct. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your environment. If your phone is next to you, you will scroll. If distractions are everywhere, you will get distracted. Not because you're weak, because it's easy. So stop relying on discipline and start controlling your environment. Put your phone in another room. Open your workspace before you start. Remove everything that makes distraction easy. Make good habits easy. Make bad habits hard. That's how systems work. They guide your behavior without needing motivation. Step 4. Track your actions. Here's a silent reason why people quit. They don't see progress. Even if they're doing the work, it feels invisible. And when progress feels invisible, you lose motivation. So your system needs one thing: visibility. Track what you do. Not perfectly, just consistently. Mark an X for every day you show up. That's it. Because when you see your progress, something changes. You don't want to break the streak. And now, you're not chasing motivation, you're protecting momentum. Step 5. Lock your identity. This is where everything changes. Stop saying, "I'm trying to be productive," because trying keeps you stuck. Instead say, "I follow my system." Simple, clear, non-negotiable, because your actions follow your identity. If you believe you're inconsistent, you will act inconsistent. But if you see yourself as someone who follows a system, you start acting like it, even on bad days, even when it's hard. That's the difference. Now here's the truth. Your life will not change because you feel motivated. It will change because you remove the need for motivation. Because when you have a system, you don't negotiate with yourself. You don't wait for the perfect moment. You don't depend on emotions. You just show up. Again and again and again. And at first, it feels small, almost pointless. But over time, those small actions build momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds identity. And identity changes your entire life. So here's your challenge. Don't try to fix everything. Don't chase motivation again. Just build one simple system. Something so easy you can't fail. And follow it, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Because that's where real change begins. Not in motivation, but in systems. And one day, you'll look back and realize you didn't become productive. You became unstoppable.